Oh my gosh, we are back. It is Woo Woo Wednesday.
No, it's not. No.
No?
It's
No?
wild, weird, wonderful, werewolf, woo-woo Wednesday. That's what it is, Purple Valkyrie.
That is exactly what it is. And oh my gosh, we've missed you guys so much.
Some of you, not all of you. I'm not
Before we
naming names.
jump in, Salty, how are you doing?
The reports of my death, I mentioned it on Twitter, were greatly exaggerated. I was out saving busloads of children from dragons and all that type. No, I actually just
True
moved,
story.
which to be honest, it probably would have been easier to fight a dragon, than move. But I moved, and I'll get into that probably on the Thanksgiving chill stream I'm doing tomorrow night. It's going to be a chill hangout. We're going to do some trivia, maybe some Dark phone, probably pimp the pictures of our Thanksgiving food and feast because I'm a big food porn fan. We'll do all that. And but this is my first live stream in like a week and a half, and has Madonna so eloquently said, "It feels like the first time." Actually, that was Foreigner. Feels like the first time. Feels like the very first time. I'll shut up. It's your show.
Let me say hey to everybody because we have got some amazing people who have joined us. Great to see you. We've got Brandon, the anime guy. He says food porn. Absolutely. We've got the man himself, Zax. Great to see you.
The man in Canada.
The man in Canada.
Yeah. I Dempsey, I think I'd put an equal sign with Dawkins. I'd say equal. Although Foreigner has more singable, recognizable hits, but that's a whole other show. I'm going to shut up. Sorry, Purple.
This is true. No, not at all. This is what we do on a Wednesday. We talk woo-woo, but we also kind of meander around. But we've got Dempsey, as you correctly said. We've got our favourite vampire, who has apparently missed us, Nosferatu. Great to see you. We've got Kenny Long, sending you a big hug as well. We've got Jay the Deep-Minded. We've missed you too, honey. Great to see you. Let's see who else, because I know I've missed.
We have Silverlock. Check out Silverlock. Hey, Parrot Head. Great to see you. Brandon, the anime guy. We have Kenny Loggins. I loved your soundtrack. No, it's Kenny Long. I thought Kenny Loggins was in there. Yeah.
Close enough. It's in the ballpark. And
I'm all right.
We've got the man himself. We've got the Nerdporeal Lifeform, who has been kind enough to send us a super chat. So thank you. He said, "Missed you guys. Love and laughter always." Right back at you, Nerdporeal, who is absolutely crushing it at the moment on YouTube.
Well, that's a man who streams a lot. Mad props to Brian, Nerdporeal Lifeform. He's doing his thing his way, and I think that's all we can really do with YouTube right now. For those of you that are creators in the chat, you know what I'm talking about. I'm not sure how many times we can talk about the Rings of Power, or Disney, or Marvel, or Star Wars, and is anybody into it anymore? Most of all, ourselves. you know? But thank you, Brandon, for giving us an update on the audio. Hello to Dragon Ruse as well. And Zax, I want a big man kiss next time we talk.
And I want pictures of that. So, guys,
It's a
we are.
metaphor. It's a metaphor.
Okay. Okay. Guys, we are back with a woo woo, and I am going to kick it off with something that is, let's say, kind of silly, but it made me smile, and that's what it's all
Kind
about.
of.
So,
Kind of
this
silly.
article
Kind
is
of
from
silly.
last year, but it says, could the Loch Ness Monster be the ghost of a dinosaur? And
Why
you
not?
know me and the Loch Ness Monster and dinosaurs, I was intrigued. So let's see what they've got to say. We all know that the Loch Ness Monster is pretty elusive. True story. I've yet to see it. Nessie is rarely spotted and always fails to leave any evidence of its existence behind. Sound like anything else? I can think of quite a few things that YouTube probably
Klaus
wouldn't
Schwab.
like me saying. Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Jeffrey's Island.
Uh-huh.
That list that one chick, Giselle, who was a pimp and sold younglings into servitude with people like Bill and Hill.
Things that are found on laptops, that sort of thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
But if Nessie is a ghost, and this is a big if, guys, it would explain why it's so hard to get a glimpse of the beast, and even harder to capture. No, it's not a ghost. To capture it on camera. So we've had more than 1,000 people who have seen this over the years. I'd say that's a pretty good number of people to see something that supposedly doesn't exist. But the whole idea that this could be a ghost, I think, is taking a great idea and just turning it very, very silly. Now, I like ghosts and I love the Loch Ness Monster, but trying to shove the two together, I don't think so.
I think this is another one of those cases, Purple, where it's kind of like, could there be a dimensional element to this? Could there be some type of a whatever resonance this creature is existing at? Because as we've been learning, resonance and what, especially while driving, I listened to a lot of new Graham Hancock. Of course, we've talked about him and Randall Carlson on shows for quite a while now. Been a big reader of his books, both of their books and websites. Of course, Randall Carlson's Sacred Geometry. And of course, one thing a lot of people are doing, including some larger channels out there, is covering Graham Hancock's new series on Netflix. If you have not read Graham Hancock's works, it is a great introduction into his theories and a lot of the things that I quote on this show. It's a great way to get into it, including ancient impacts, how, in my opinion, and I would say based on overwhelming evidence, a lot more than injections that don't work. I would just say that's the true history of North America. So, but where I'm going with all that is resonance, harmonics, the things that Tesla rediscovered or was given information on. Is it possible that these sightings, whether they be UFOs and not the idiotic ones that are clearly being staged for, as we talked about, what Wernher von Braun said the last step would be, which is the fake UFO invasion sold to all of us because we're morons, apparently, and we all deserve to freeze and starve, according to the World Economic Fund, that the last thing to unite us under a world government where we all pay carbon taxes and have to go before death panels is the UFO invasion. But I digress.
Absolutely, and just going by what the chat is saying, they're absolutely agreeing with you. Ren Zero, good evening. He says, great work by Carlson and Hancock. Indeed. I've yet to watch this show, but I am very excited to get to see this. And some of you guys, the comments that you're putting up, oh my God.
Sorry, you guys heard me. I actually ate some sandwich letting Purple talk and then couldn't get the damn thing off the roof of my mouth. TMI, right? But come on, we're all friends here.
Yes,
and it's
like
lunchtime.
I
got it up. This never happens. I'm juggling. I'm multitasking. I'm a mover and a shaker and a heartbreaker. We all know that.
Nosferatu says Loch Ness Monster is the final boss when you cross through a CERN portal. Yeah, most likely, given what's going on.
I think it's a Hunter B. and his and it's like a Quentin Tarantino like scene with all of his hooker ninjas, where all those little very young hookers that all know martial arts. Yeah, I don't give a shit. I don't care anymore, guys. I don't care anymore. I'm gonna go there. Yeah, like they attack you, and not in the way that maybe some of us would fantasize about. But yeah, that's the final boss. And then at the end, you got to give 10% to the big guy.
I kind of like that idea. You guys are nuts. But just
We
jumping back,
are.
just jumping back quickly to this, because this is a very, very silly article, but I love it. But it says, if the famous Scottish monster is a ghost, then what was it when it was alive? And how long ago was it swimming in the loch? Well, I would say, as Salty correctly said, that's a moot point, because it's still swimming in the loch, because it's not a ghost. It's a living creature.
I have
think
questions.
Yes.
Sorry, go
What are those questions?
So I'm working on the final draft of the Christmas Carol radio play that I'm going to be casting for. And yes, please, if you're on social media, send me a DM if you're interested in being part of a Christmas Carol. It's going to be intense and quick, these recordings, and then I'll do all the work. A little shameless self-promotion, but that will be occurring. And of course, everyone who was on the War of the Worlds already, you are cordially invited back. But if you would like to be part of this production, and I set a time, we work quick, we work fast, I give direction, and then I do all the work, please hit me on Twitter. I'll let you know what roles are open and available, and we'll start grinding this thing out. So my question is this: if this is the ghost of Loch Ness, okay, is it related to the ghost of Christmas past, or any of the other ghosts that are rife throughout Ireland, Scotland, and England? That's my question. Now, do ghosts, think about this, are ghosts on different temporal or harmonic planes, or do they all exist in one plane? See, now we start going down this crazy weird road, even weirder than Loch Ness Monster's a ghost, where how does this all work? And do we even know?
Yes, and are we talking ghost, or are we talking different dimensions? And the only thing that you can see is this thing passing through the dimensions that make it look like a ghost. And then Soul Assassin brings up a great question. If Nessie's a ghost, then who killed it?
Oh, well, it was JR. No, it was Bobby Ewing. No, it was JR's wife, just like in Dallas. Those of you under 40 will probably not get that reference. I'll wait while you Google it. And Zax, you're not wrong. That 70s rock fan says he keeps a monster in his pants. He's Scottish. I think we're
ladies.
Yes, and Nosferatu says, intense and quick, sounds like a Peter North video. Oh, you're not wrong there, my friend.
Just quickly, let me shout out Ren Zero, who has become a new member. So thank you so much, Ren Zero. I did a great show with him a little while ago, talking all about the Chrome, which was a lot of fun. And we have got from Psychodwarf 9, great to see you, says, look up funny lights around Kingsman, Arizona.
It's getting worse. It's getting worse, and we will talk about it on Weekend Woo Woo, where hopefully the internet will cooperate where I am. It's a long story, but there's a lot of the triangle-shaped UFOs being seen. We've covered it in several shows, primarily on the West Coast, but also just notoriously all over New Mexico and Arizona. It's these big triangle light things. There's also what appear to be drones, doing things. But yeah, expect a lot more of this, especially once, let's say, the electricity doesn't work very well, and maybe there's a railroad strike, and once gas hits $10-15 because my carbon taxes, and when we're all essentially on the verge of Mad Max and being led by oh God, I have to be really careful. By them unelected technocrat leaders who want us all to eat bugs, expect the UFOs to go full bore. That's where my money is. Yes.
2023 and 2024 are going to be interesting years. Let's just put it that way, guys. But Psychodor says that how would we develop instruments for dimensional slips? Pretty sure they've already done one. It's called CERN.
Yeah, it's fascinating, and I'm just going to jump in this because I like this free association thing that we're doing today, and we
Mm-hmm.
do have more articles, and we're going to go about an hour and a half because Salty's playing a little loose today. But I was reading this thing, and this is directly a quotation from this big conference that just happened involving all the usual suspects, Bill and Klaus and uh, Macaroni or Macron or whatever his name is, and a bunch of other tools, unelected stooges or stooges that got in by not the usual way democracy works. Let's just say that. And they were all wearing their crazy 60s, Bond villain Nehru shirts. You guys look that up. That's a true thing. It's kind of weird. It's like that crazy cult that cut their junk off and was wearing silver lame jumpsuits and wore Converse. But where I'm going with all this is they said that all of us are going to be continued to have that mRNA stuff put into all of our food, into the air, into the water, because they're going to force the evolution of humanity, whether we like it or not. That's not my words. That's not my interpretation. That's what they literally just said at this conference. What's
Mm-hmm.
fascinating is that obviously we're all not going to make it, meaning none of us will except them. But the point of all this is they want to get rid of all of us useless eaters. Again, not my words, theirs. Because they're going to force evolution from our current state of being Homo sapiens to Homo Deus, human gods. Again, not Salty's words, their words. They want to become human gods
Yes.
while using, as Purple Valkyrie said, the CERN collider, which is looking for, what are they looking for again, Purple Valkyrie?
They were looking for, originally they said it was called the God particle, so the Higgs boson
Boom.
particle.
Is this, I mean, again, is it woo-woo when it's actually happening?
Is it woo-woo when they're telling us what they're going to do and just assume that there's nothing that we can do about it?
Yeah. I'll take good old-fashioned imperfect humans. You know why? Because we have
Same.
souls. We have souls.
do.
And I don't think those people do.
No, there's a distinct lack of empathy going on in the world at the moment. But just to quickly grab this comment, because I saw it from Adega, and great to see you, Adega, says, those TR-3B UFOs are over Michigan as well. He's seen 2.
We should talk, Adega. We should, we're going to start bringing some guests on, especially if you have firsthand accounts. I would love to start doing that on the Weekend Woo Woo Show. Bring on some people if you have photographic evidence. If not that, then a map location, exactly when it happened. Spend about 10 minutes talking about your experience, because I think a lot of people are seeing a lot of things now. And Psycho Dwarf 9 says, Salty, are we talking puddle jumpers or carriers? Planes? Pedal jumpers or carriers? You mean the UFOs? Psycho Dwarf Mine, please add a little more detail. Pretend that I haven't streamed in a week and a half and am mildly developmentally disabled.
And just to bring up what Renzero says, to be fair, the nickname God particle was more to do with the function of the Higgs boson that it performed. I'll give them that. It did. And then they decided to see what else it could do, which is the issue.
Yeah, and we've talked about it on previous shows. This first one that they built will be fully powered when all the rest of the people are starving to death in Europe and other places, or paying $80 gajillion for their electricity bill. It's just wild. It's just wild in how out in the open this stuff is. So
it is, yes. It's not a case of it's being hidden anymore. They're telling us exactly what's going to happen. But Psycho Dwarf, thank you. He says, let them imagine that something that evolved me.
I could see that. I could absolutely see that. And let me know when you take that thing that I sent you. So.
All right, I will bring it in now if that's okay. There we go. What have we got here?
So this is crazy. This is not, again, Bob's crazy weirdo woo-woo site. This is from Nature Science and our Science Nature, because I'm dyslexic. And this came out a couple of weeks ago, I guess 3 weeks ago now. NASA confirms that we now have the largest comet ever recorded is now heading towards Earth. Surprise! Surprise. Is it
Yay!
the sweet meteor of death that we all hope for? I don't know. So NASA verified that the biggest comet ever detected has a diameter of 85 miles and is now officially the largest comet ever spotted after the Hubble telescope studies. So it's got some complicated name. It's known as C 2014 because that's the year it was found. UN 271 because the UN destroys everything it's involved in. I guess that's why they put it on this comet. And it was done through the Dark Energy Survey and has pictures. So the diameter had previously only able to been estimated between 60 and 120 miles, but now that they've used the Hubble, they've confirmed it's 85 miles. Now, this comet has been hurtling toward Earth for 1 million years, and they say it poses no danger to the planet when it reaches its closest approach in 2031. Those of you who have been following on about what they're trying to do with the great set that is 2030, kind of a big year. Again, maybe I'm
numbers line up.
Is it just a coincidence? I don't know. But it come within 1 billion miles of Earth. I don't know about that. What I do find fascinating, and let me know if it jumps up on the screen, Purple Valkyrie, if we're actually looking at the... Okay, we got it. Roger that. I'm looking at it. So this is to give you a comparison of size of meteors that have gone by. Okay, so the Hale Bopp, that one went by. We all remember that damn thing a couple of years ago. But look at the scope and scale of this rock that they say is going to pass around 2031. 1 billion miles, but it's been hurtling toward us for 1 million years. That looks like the sweet meteor of death, if I've ever seen one. So let's keep our eyes on this thing, you know?
Yes, please. Considering how many that they've just missed that have, shot past us in the past couple of months that we've talked about. Yeah. And they've been pretty close misses.
It's really hard to do sciencey stuff when you're lashing out on social media and trying to disassemble white privilege and patriarchy. Okay, Purple Valkyrie, who has time to do your job? Hello? Oh my God. David Jewett, a professor of planetary sciences at the University of California, Los Angeles, said this comet is literally the tip of the iceberg for many thousands of comets that are too faint to see in the more distant parts of our solar system. We've always suspected this comet had to be big because it is so bright at such a large distance. Now, what the Hubble did confirmed it. Now, they do have some video of this, but it's basically like if you here, let's look. It looks like a Christmas light in the dark. There's really no other way to see it. You can kind of see this damn thing is pretty bright using the Hubble telescope. That's the reflection of the sun. And of course, it's off-gassing like comets do once they enter our solar system and then also get closer to the sun. And you can see some of the debris coming off the comet there. But I just thought, you know what? Let's talk about some hard science, but let's also talk about how this fits into Agenda 2030. So there you go.
Yeah. Yes, it is interesting, as you say, just coincidentally how these things seem to line up. Yeah. Pure mathematical probability, I'm absolutely sure. But it is fascinating, and we've talked quite a bit about meteors and the size of this thing. If it was to hit, this would be a world-ending event, and
it would certainly end genders and gender studies and more than two genders in general. It would cause nuclear winter. It would cause catastrophe on a very large scale. It would probably result in pole shift. Not a lot of people would make it. Not a lot of people.
Yes, that would most certainly be a reset, but probably not the one that they're thinking of. And hey to Dave Bob, good to see you. It says if it hits the moon, the man in the moon will get a little tail. Get it?
You missed Jay the Deep Minded. Says time to put the Aerosmith on and deploy Bruce Willis and Ben Affleck to the shuttle, Earth's only hope. I don't want to close my eyes. Yeah. God.
God,
I actually like that
that was
movie.
beautiful.
It's a dumb movie, but I like that movie.
I preferred the one that came out around about the same time that had Elijah Wood in. I thought that was the better of the
See, I,
two.
I saw both of those in the theater, and I
Mm.
thought that one was dumb, but we can still be friends.
We can agree to disagree. Okay. But
Yeah,
yeah.
we can pretend
And
to. Yeah.
Dave Bob, I've missed a member chat. I am so sorry. Let me bring this up that Salty has got, and I will go
Yeah,
get it. And
I'll cover.
hey, to OBG70, good to see you. Good afternoon.
What
So,
did you
what have we
walk
got here,
into?
Salty?
Mike, you just missed me talking about an 85-mile comet that is inbound. We also, what the hell? Oh, we talked about how the Loch Ness monster could be a interdimensional ghost. And this, we're now looking at this is Pluto, probably one of the most highest resolution pictures ever taken of what they say is no longer a planet, but this was taken by NASA's New Horizons spacecraft just a few weeks ago. I had no idea Pluto looked like this. I just thought it was just blue, like little asteroidy, planety, small little thing. But this
That's
is a
rather
pretty darn
beautiful.
cool looking. I know it's a pretty darn cool looking non-planet planet.
And
You know,
Pluto's absolutely a planet. It was a planet when I was a kid. I don't know why they decided to downgrade it, but it will always be a planet in my heart.
it's because NASA's a size queen. It only wants those big boys in her. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we've got from Dave Bob. So sorry, Dave Bob. Member chats don't show up, but he has been with us for 21 months. Thank you so much. He says, long time no see. Couldn't figure out what time it started. Me neither. My apologies for that, guys. It decided to reset. It says, glad I didn't miss it. Absolutely. It is so good to see you guys. And yes, sorry if there was some confusion. I set it yesterday and the time decided it didn't want to do the time that I set it at, but we're glad to be back.
Yeah.
What have we got here? Let's have a look.
So this is a fantastic picture off of Twitter, of course, and this is a Perseid meteor showers. These are the meteors that have been going on for countless thousands and thousands of years. But the Perseids are the meteors, and I believe that there is a theory which I believe is greatly substantiated by even more evidence than there was 3 years ago when I first started to get into Graham Hancock, that the Perseids are the remnants of a giant comet that came through our solar system, part of which broke off large fragments and then hit North America, far North America, multiple times. First of all, probably 12,800 years ago, and then again 11,600 years ago, which forced the ice cap on North America to very rapidly melt and turn North America, and especially those areas in Western Washington, or Eastern Washington, Eastern Oregon, Utah, going all the way down to the Baja of California, erasing and changing the landscape, having just driven through those areas. For the millionth time, every time I look at the landscapes of Eastern Oregon, Western Washington, Utah, Idaho, it is undeniable that something major happened, and the floodwaters involved in this. This is not gradualism. This did not happen slowly over time. There were large catastrophic events which were caused, and we know by looking at the Greenland ice cores, and now started to look at the Antarctic ice cores, that is indeed true, and global cataclysms on a large scale occurred, which forever changed not just the climate of this planet and mammals and trees, but also the course of human evolution as a result of it. But it looks pretty now.
It certainly does, and you've told me about this, that you've driven across it, and to actually see this with your own eyes, and we've talked about it, and you've recommended Graham Hancock's books, which I am going to pick up, and I'm really looking forward to reading them, but to actually see this and to see the way that the land has been formed, it's incredible, you've said.
Yeah, it's undeniable. Yeah, I never take pictures of this stuff. I'm just like, oh, that's so cool. But yeah, well, next show we should probably look at some of that information that's out there. For so many months, for years, I've been saying, please go check out the Joe Rogan interviews with Randall Carlson and Graham Hancock. Graham Hancock is somebody who has really suffered a lot for his work. He's called a pseudoscientist, and yet everything he does is actually using information and data. He doesn't talk about Bigfoot or, crazy shit. No, I'm not saying Bigfoot's crazy, but what he does is say we have to look at what's going on here. And there's a lot of archaeologists, just like virologists, that don't tell you the truth. They tell you what gets them funding. And here we are. Yeah, watch the interviews, Carlson and
Absolutely.
Hancock with Joe Rogan. They're fan-damn-tastic.
They are, yes. I've been steadily working my way through them over the past few months, and they are fascinating to listen to. These guys are incredible. And we have got from, again, Psychodwarf9, thank you so much. Let's see, he says, saw a bunch of stone knives driving through Nevada. There's flood damage. Now, that is fascinating. So, obviously, once you get the flood damage and it washes away whatever level of topsoil you've got, then it uncovers what's below. And can you imagine what's been buried and what's been lost under all this?
Oh yeah, I can. The problem is that these damn again, academia. There was a time when I wanted to be a professor, but then I realized I just wasn't good at getting on my knees and servicing people who were assholes, and so went into a different career field. And it's the same thing. It's been the same thing since before I went to college in the early '90s, and God knows what it's like now. But you don't get ahead in academia by making big discoveries. You get ahead in academia by validating those people who wormed their way into those positions ahead of you. That's a broad generalization, but it's also not wrong.
So. And that's one of the things that Graham Hancock has talked about. It's very difficult to introduce a new idea because it's almost a dogma at this stage. They're so set in this idea that they don't want to consider anything. And me being the naive kind of person that I am, I thought that was the whole point of science. You're always supposed to be looking for new possibilities and new ideas. But apparently that is not how things work.
That's white privilege. That's the patriarchy.
That's the patriarchy talking.
No, you have to sit around and whine and complain and not actually do work and change your genders. All right, let's get into something weird. This is weird. I want to hear from the chat on this. I don't know if this is legit or not. I don't know if this is crazy shit, but I really want to know. I really do want to know what people think of this. So the origin is this, and here, let me, good Lord. So this comes to us from Odysee, and this is saying that, oh God, all these damn pop-ups. Hundreds of sheep have been walking in circles for 10 days. They're just endlessly walking obsessively in a circle. Let's take a look at it. It's exactly what I say. This comes to us from RT, and we all know what that is. No, okay, this is not an early Black Friday sale. You know why? Because no one's killing each other for televisions yet.
Yes.
But there it is. Now, I don't know if that's real or not. I just thought that was strange and unusual. Now, I have observed farm animals doing crazy things. I've had chickens, I've had goats, I've had turkeys, I've had ducks. They do crazy things. Like I had a turkey who got knocked up by my Tom, that being a male turkey, not a friend of mine who was into turkey sex, but she went off and took off into the woods, and I thought like a coyote got her. She was gone for like a month or something, and then all of a sudden I'm coming down the driveway one day and I see my big dame turkey, and she's got 20 little damn white turkeys following her line. I swear to God. And suddenly I went, whoa, 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 whoa. I only wanted 2 turkeys. I didn't want 22 turkeys. You know, these creatures have instincts. They do their own thing. I mean, you don't own animals. You kind of reside with them. And if you're lucky, you get to build a kinship and a relationship. I mean, not like obviously Jeffrey or, those other pervs would do involving things, but, just kind of being a good steward, and being respectful of other life. But
yes, and
I don't know what the hell's going on with
to be kind of dumb, but I've never known them to walk in circles constantly like that. but I have known other animals to do it. I've seen ants and various types of insects. They get into this kind of loop, and they because they're following the one in front of them, they can't break it, and they just walk until they drop down dead. I've also seen geese do it, and Adega said that this is real. I have several videos on similar incidents as well, and as well as several hypotheses.
Yeah, check DM. I'll be right back.
But it is weird. And when somebody first brought this to me, I thought I've never seen this done in mammals, especially sheep, because as I say, Dempsey, it's a herd conga line. It could very well be. But it is so freaking weird. And is this something that is it something that we're going to be continuing seeing? Is it something that's like a type of poisoning that's got them kind of going in circles? What is it that is causing these creatures just to walk? And
I'm
how
pretty
do we stop
sure.
them?
I'm pretty sure this is what after you get your 8th booster, and they start putting the mRNA shit into the food. When they crank that 5G up, how many people do you think are going to be doing that?
Yeah. Lord,
Seriously.
so someone spiked their grass with LSD. Could very well be.
Put on the dead, man. Put on the dead, man. Jerry lives, man.
And Daniel, I hope that isn't the case, but given the direction that we're heading in, yes, indeed.
We already did that. 6 feet apart, put a t-shirt over your face, get shot up with experimental shit. And by the way, the United States FDA never told anyone not to take ivermectin. That's why you couldn't even say ivermectin on YouTube. If you said ivermectin on YouTube, you lost your fucking channel. But that was just a recommendation. That's just a recommendation.
I remember back when you couldn't even say COVID on YouTube because they didn't like it, and it was apparently spreading false information. Yeah.
Yes. That's how that works. Are we all paying attention? Are we all paying attention to what happens next? I got something weird.
You got something weird. And Dave Bob, I saw that as well, the lamb born in the artificial womb. Fascinating, but again, I hate the idea of playing God with creatures. We need to stop that.
We did see all this. It was a little movie called The Matrix, and there's only one movie. Somebody said it was a trilogy, but there's just one movie. It's The Matrix. Was that movie just telling us what they were going to do before they did it? Because it sure as hell feels like it. It sure as hell does. Okay, this is nuts.
What have we got here?
This comes to us from Breitbart, and it comes from the UK. Man says, it was brilliant to catch it. A fisherman catches a monster 67-pound goldfish. And no, this is not some weird Photoshop trick. This is an actual goldfish. This dude caught. A fisherman in the UK is likely to enter the history books after catching what would be the largest goldfish ever seen. This was caught by Andy Hackett from Worcestershire. How do you say that, Purple Valkyrie?
That's Worcestershire.
Worcestershire, while fishing in the Blue Lakes of Champagne, France. So you got a Brit named Andy from Worcestershire who was fishing in Champagne in France and caught that big ass goldfish. Isn't that crazy?
That is insane. Now, I've heard of this before. I've seen not fish as big as this, but goldfish. If you don't keep them in little tanks, they're one of those fish, kind of like carp and things like that will actually get bigger and bigger and bigger. They just get bigger to fill whatever environment they're in. And apparently they'll eat absolutely everything. So it's probably a good thing that he caught this creature.
I remember when I lived in New England, there was a Chinese restaurant that had a couple big aquariums that they had these huge ash goldfish in. And I was like, man, those are really big goldfish. And then one weekend I came in and then they had a special fish fried rice, but the goldfish weren't in tanks anymore. And so I never went back to that Chinese restaurant. This fish's name is Carrot, and it's not exactly a true goldfish. Instead, it's a unique blend of two carp species, the leather carp, and yes, that is into BDSM for those of you who are ichthyologists, and a koi. Look at that. Why hasn't Disney made a movie about trans representation with
That's
an
a
animated character
good-looking
like that?
fish. He actually looks like he's smiling for the camera.
I know. Look at him. Now, there's good news to this story. Andy has a big heart. He's been fishing for carrot for years, and it didn't take him long to realize that he had hooked a special fish. He said it took the bait, went side to side, up and down with it, and then came to the surface 30 or 40 yards out and saw that it was orange. It was brilliant to catch it, but it was sheer luck. Now, the previous goldfish variant species record was set in 2019 when an angler from Minnesota hauled in a 30-pound big-mouth buffalo, believed to be 100 years old. Carrot is a young fish, being only 20, and officially weighed in at over twice that size. Again, that goldfish-looking thing is 67.5 pounds. Now, the good news is our man Andy from Worcestershire did a catch and release thing. He just wanted to do a photo op with Carrot,
Oh,
and he put it back. And so this thing will probably become large enough to eat the Eiffel Tower for too long. So let's give
in there
look,
somewhere.
look at that. Look at this.
Look at
this.
Look
at that. It's true love. You can see it in Andy's eyes. He's,
And I think it was Trinoculus who said they make a cute couple. They really do.
I know.
And hello to nearsighted Cyclops. Hey there.
Look at that.
Look at that. That is that's an impressive fish. I've got to admit.
Yeah.
And I've never been fishing, but wow.
Yeah. I got some fish last night. As a matter of fact, I went down to the local fish market and picked up some fish I'd never had before. It's called rough eye. It's really good. But that's Carrot, and that's Andy, and I love a happy ending.
Me too. That's good. See, we don't know. It's not all doom and gloom when we talk.
It is.
We
can pretend it's not, but it's all shit. It's all going to get worse too. But it's nice to look at stories like that, right?
It is. And Solar Assassin, you're probably right. Someone flushed that fish into the lake. Most likely, yes.
Yeah, in Lake Champagne. Remember Andy from Worcestershire went to Champagne, France to catch Carrot? This is like World War II code. This is like what they did to trick the Nazi subboats.
I'm thinking Andy and Carrot have like a backstory together. He went, this is his fish that he had as a boy. He let it go. He decided to catch it again. Check up on Carrot, see how he's doing. That's a Disney film right there.
Born free as the wind moves. Well, you got any articles you want me to keep popping stuff up like this, Purple? You still there? Did I lose you?
Still there. Sorry, I was grabbing an article. My apologies.
Okay.
I muted myself while I did because YouTube is being YouTube as it is. But since we are talking technically in the food category, I thought I would share this one because I think you guys would like it. So this one is from our good friends at Ancient Origins. We've covered these guys quite a bit, and it is 3 ancient diets that are still popular today. Now, this is a very wordy article, so I'm not going to do the whole thing, but I will cover the 3, and I think you'll recognize them. So first one is the Paleo or the Stone Age diet, which most people will say it's a pretty darn good diet. It's one that is heavy in meat, but it's also heavy in grains, which we need. So it says people who subscribe to the logic behind paleo dieting think that the way humans in the hunter-gatherer period, which is very important, ate is the ultimate form of diet. Therefore, people who eat a paleo diet cut out all processed food. That line in particular is very important because that is an excellent idea.
Yeah. The only processed food, and again, I'm not some saint, all right? I drink enough bourbon to pickle small states, but I mean, I'd stay away from anything that says bioengineered. Look on the back of the food you buy. You were required in the United States if it has gene manipulated food, the food that Bill G and Klaus want you to eat, it will say bioengineered. I do not buy things like that. Again, doesn't make me a saint, but it's something I can do. 1 second, gonna see.
Yes, and if it has the words GMO on it, avoid at all costs, please. You'll thank us.
Yeah, there sometimes when you're traveling, like when I was on the road, I had to eat Jimmy John's or other stuff like that. But but don't make a habit of it. But I mean, processed food in general, the only thing that I eat that comes out of a can is coffee and organic vegetables and stuff like that. And again, I'm not trying to push my lifestyle. I'm not saying a saint, but these are the things that we can control,
Mm-hmm.
especially when it comes to genetically modified beet sugar, which is shit you
Yes.
do not want in your body. You do not want that in your body. The other thing is GMO corn, which after 2 generations of farm pigs eating it, they become sterile and develop
Mm-hmm.
tumors. So there you are. Sorry.
Nasty, nasty stuff. And before I carry on, let me say hey to TZ Burton. It says, hi, Purple. Hi, Salty. Great to see you. And we have got Smile a while for me. Hello, lovely. Good to see you. And we've missed you too. Missed you
Yeah.
guys. Heck yes.
ATZ, hey, smile a while for me. You know what I gotta do? Sarah smile. I can't do that. Let me go. Sarah smile. There you go. Had to do it for you. Smile a while.
There you go. Beautiful. Let's see. So, would you say that paleo diet is a pretty good idea? I mean, obviously, you cut out as much genetically modified crap as possible, and try to cut
Yeah.
down on sugars and things.
Yeah, I mean, to me, I mean, before they called it the paleo diet, I ate like that before, and
Mm-hmm.
part of it is some of the genetic predispositions in my family towards certain things, and then like all of us, we all have a genetic predisposition toward things,
Mm-hmm.
which will all be used against us in the future. Don't worry about it, because they have to charge for everything now because they're going to call it carbon something. But I was just like, I'm going to start learning to do this in my 30s, and then did it through my 40s, and now that I'm ancient, I'm glad I did. What all the lockdown did to a lot of us, I think, is we ate more. It didn't
Mm-hmm.
matter if it was healthy or not. We ate more because we were bored, and things like that. So now I think a lot of us, or maybe I'm just projecting myself, are trying to lose those Billy G uh, pounds, the World Economic Fund pounds. But I think like anything else, take what works for you. But I do
Mm-hmm.
think the one thing that's missing from the paleo diet is mammoth steak. I
Agreed.
would I think that is a key thing. Is I want mammoth burgers, but elk burgers. I just bought some venison the other day. It's really good for you. Lean.
Venison is amazing, yeah. And there's a lot of meats that people kind of used to eat in the past, and I think I'll probably cover it when we get closer to Christmas. People don't really eat goose anymore. Turkey has kind of taken its place, but goose is great because it's lean. It's not as fatty as duck is. Salty mentioned venison. There's
Mhm.
things like ostrich, which is a fantastic meat. All these
Yeah.
different types that you can try, but yeah, don't kind of limit yourself. There's so much
Yeah.
stuff you can
And learn how to
do.
hunt.
Mhm.
Learn how
Yeah.
to hunt. Learn how to hunt. Find some crazy redneck relative you have, who and again, no disrespect, because I do fall in that category. That's where I came from, and I love to hunt, not because I love to kill things, but because I like knowing where my meat comes from. And I like knowing what goes into it. Meat doesn't just magically appear at the grocery store wrapped under cellophane. You go out and get a couple chickens, learns how to process a chicken.
Mhm.
Same thing
Yep.
with a goose,
Yep.
deer hunting, venison. These are things YouTube doesn't like us to talk about.
And
But as
fish.
we talk, yeah, in fish, the thing about it is if YouTube doesn't want you to talk about ivermectin and about sudden death syndrome, and they don't want you to talk about being self-sufficient, what is it about those three things which don't seem related?
Hmm.
Which is so problematic. I gotta shut up. This isn't my channel. Go ahead.
And Trinaclis brings a good one as well. Bison, which I have been lucky enough to try in the past.
Oh
Delicious.
yeah, I love
And
bison and elk.
Daniel, he says, I've been training myself with new eating habits. Only eat between 12 noon and 7 p.m. and I only order out once a week.
That's pretty
That's
much what
really
I do.
good. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's pretty much what I do.
That's
Yeah,
a great way to do it.
yeah.
Adega says diets are best determined by markers in blood types. Some people eat things
Mhm.
better than others, while some have to avoid common things.
Bingo.
As I've gotten older, I've had to kind of stray away from milk and anything kind of dairy products because I've developed kind of a slight lactose intolerance. I mean, it's not terrible, but I certainly feel the effects. But you're absolutely right.
No, Adega, it is interesting because again, they like to say that we're all the same except when we're not, because and all this other horse shit that they're talking about. The genetic markers that you're talking about with blood types and other things also led to very different reactions for, let's just say, experimental vaccines that were out there. And for a while in the news cycle, they were talking about certain people with certain blood types who were able to weather a certain disease of dubious origin and to recover from that affliction much quicker and faster and with less damage than others. And the question I don't think will ever be answered, and we certainly won't be able to talk about on YouTube, is why that was. Because that's not how viruses work.
Yes, but if you try and bring that up, you're a conspiracy theorist, indeed. Smile a while for me says, never ordered out. I'm sensitive to so many foods that I need to know what's in it, what my food is before it ends up on my plate. I think that's a really wise way to do it, and just kind of talking to a lot of people, and I'm definitely, ever since I kind of got out of my 20s and into 30s, I've been a lot more focused on what goes in, cut down on anything processed, anything with high sugar content. I don't drink any soda anymore. All these little changes really do help. And Nerdporial is that I've changed major eating habits, less sugar and not stuffing my face for starters, as well as walking several miles a day. Walking is a fantastic way to lose weight, and you don't even realize it some of the sometimes.
Yeah, I've been doing that a lot more lately, and since I moved, that is something I do every day now, and I'm going to continue to do. And it is something that I missed doing just because it was so hot where I was before. And I don't know, man. There's a lot of things, and again, this isn't about guilt. You do you. But if there are things that we can't control, and let's be honest, there's not a lot that we can't control now, and most people are just lying to us from everywhere: TV, radio, YouTube, the government. But what we can't control is what we put in our bodies. And the gut is the center by which the brain and your emotions are centered. If you eat junk food, you're going to have not a very healthy emotional state. And all things in moderation. We should do a show on that. We really should. The importance
that's
of
a good idea.
probiotics.
Yes.
And things like that. We'll probably all end up in jail because that's the last damn thing Billy G with his Beyond Meat. Did you guys see those articles that just came out about Beyond Meat and all the crazy stuff that's in there? Like, really insane. Like, it's not just the shit that they say is food, which is genetically modified things which your body cannot break down, but all of the toxins and rat crap and wood shavings and metal shavings. And it's like, nah, I think I'm good. I'm just gonna raise chickens and not eat
microplastics. That was never a thing. Yeah.
Klaus Schwab casserole. Yeah.
Oh my god. Psychodwarf again, thank you. And he says, look for the connection between cayenne and fat.
I gotta look at that. Psychodwarf 9, in a couple words, tell us what that's about, because I know cayenne, it is actually something that can help with digestion, but I would love to learn that. And Daniel, I stopped drinking the high fructose corn syrup stuff. I will occasionally, there's a local soda brewery here that I love, and it's real cane sugar, but it's about a quarter of the sugar that you'd find like in Coke and other stuff like that. So it's not as sweet. So it's kind of like a slightly sweet, seltzer water, which is good, but it mixes really well with bourbon. You're not wrong about that.
That sounds really good. And Silverlock, thank you so much. Great to see you. It sent us a 1999. So super chat. Thank you. I might have to leave soon, so dropping a tip just in case. Thank you. It is great to see you. It's great to see all of you guys. We really did miss you, and apologies that real life did get in the way, but we are back.
Yeah, for both of us, and we just decided I had to focus on my stuff, you had to focus on yours, and yeah, in a lot of ways, I also was off I'm not on social media except for Twitter for the show, but it was wild to be kind of a free range human being and living like it was the 80s or 90s again, and I really missed all of you people in chat and your interactions. That's why I love doing these shows. But I didn't miss bad shows on streaming services, and I didn't miss, being yelled at by people with multiple pronouns on social media. I didn't.
It's nice to get a detox, both in regards to food and social
Yeah.
media. It does make a huge difference.
Let me shout out Silverlock. Silverlock's a great guy. And Silverlock has impeccable taste in old role-playing games. Not for the first time. He has he has posted pictures of things that I used to have when I was a teenager or in the 80s, like Gamma World, great post-apocalyptic role-playing game. Space Frontiers, obviously that speaks for itself. Role-playing game, set in space in the future. It's great because we've talked about it before, but a lot of us, as we see our entertainment being weaponized against us in becoming, it's not even indoctrination, it's just meant to make you angry. I think at this point, a lot of it, look at what the assholes at Marvel did and Star Wars and Disney and all these entertainment companies. Fuck them. We don't need them. They need us. If they don't have us, well,
exactly. Yeah.
Capitalism still works. Let's just say that. Yeah.
Let me knock through these other two. So this one I remember kind of had a resurgence. I think it was in the early 2000s. Everybody was on the keto diet. I kind of avoided it because I didn't kind of like the idea. So let's see, another extremely popular modern diet that actually has historical roots is the keto diet. Its inspiration is slightly later than the paleo, but still remains historical nonetheless. So
keto.
Whatever. Keto.
Keto is the Green Hornets manservant. Chat, tell me I'm wrong.
See, that I did actually know. But forgive a Brit and her pronunciation. And it was Worcestershire.
I'm just messing with you. And Trinoculus P says, I don't drink juices or soda due to how crummy I feel when I drink it. Exactly. Mm-hmm. Look at the ingredients, though. Corn, high fructose corn syrup, made from genetically modified corn. You know what they use that same corn for? To create ethanol. That's right. Think about that one a second. We'll have to go into how much energy it takes to make ethanol, which goes into fuel, versus the actual ethanol energy contained within ethanol. But everything's not a scam and bullshit. But anyway, sorry, Purple, go ahead.
Let me get back to the keto diet. And Psychodwarf confirms. He says salty cayenne seems to have fat-burning components.
That's why I take it.
For me. Nice.
It's also good for digestion. What it does is it speeds up your metabolism. And cayenne, and check where it's sourced. You don't want stuff from China, but you definitely want to, non-GMO or local. But it's good for you. It also, again, helps. It speeds up your metabolism, helps with your blood sugar a little bit. I am not a doctor, YouTube, but in my experience, it helps with your metabolism and burning fat. You're absolutely right, dude.
And Jacob Ironson says, Purple, did you say, what's this here?
We've covered a lot of ground. Were you here for Loch Ness Monster might be a ghost, and Jacob, and then the 85-mile asteroid, which is going to supposedly hit Earth around 2030, but Bill Gates says not to worry about it. But anyway, we're talking about diets now.
We are, yes. So just to fill in anyone who's not familiar with the keto diet, it revolves around eating as few carbohydrates as possible. Now, this is one that I couldn't do because I am 95% carbohydrates. I need
Daniel. You have such simps. Daniel's such a Purple simp. It's like, yes, I know Purple's always right, but I have to mess with
It's all done with love. Keto. And
wow, it's like your
ginseng.
Yes, ginseng, 100% correct. Ginseng is really good for moods. And again, I am not a doctor. I just know this shit works. Ginseng is really good for males too. We'll say that. Okay, how do I word this? It will heighten your pleasure during things. We'll just say that. But yeah, flaxseed. In my experience, flaxseed oil, 2,000 milligrams a day, plus ginseng. If you're a dude, doesn't matter how old you are. You don't need blue pills, in my opinion, if everything's working right. Get on that diet. Again, flaxseed oil, it helps your metabolism, helps your helps a lot of things. It's funny how now that we're talking about these things, there's something called Codex Alimentarius, which is this comes to us from the United Nations. Look all of this up. Look all of this up, and you will see it's real. The next step in all of this insanity is banning herbal supplements and vitamin supplements. That's what they're going to do. So, I'm not saying to hoard anything, but I'm saying nothing wrong with having a couple months supply of things. The other thing that I strongly recommend is ashwagandha. Because I take ashwagandha for your adrenals. Our adrenals since March of 2020 have been all overloaded and all kinds of crazy. In my experience, again, I'm not a doctor, YouTube, ashwagandha, flaxseed oil, vitamin D, Q-serin to help zinc get into your cells. Look up Dr. Malone. That's all I can say about that. Yeah, cayenne. It's all there, and it's not synthetic. The problem is pharmaceutical companies like, the ones that made experimental vaccines they don't have liabilities for, they want to make synthetic versions of those things which are found in nature. And what could go wrong with that? What could go wrong with that?
Yes, and as we've seen, once they find something that does work, we get a synthetic version, and it's about 15 times the price of what the natural version would have been. Funny how that works, but again, that must be the conspiracy theorist in us.
Yeah, and Psychodwarf 9, Codex Alimentarius, the control of natural supplements, because you're going to own nothing and like it. That's why.
So just to finish up on this, this diet basically means because you aren't eating carbohydrates, it forces the body to kind of go into starvation mode without actually starving. So this is why the diet is said to be so effective. But I just really like carbohydrates. I would really struggle cutting them out of my diet, and I would be far more likely to do either the previous diet or this diet, which is kind of the one that I eat anyway, because obviously being European, it is the Mediterranean diet, which is good for your heart. Lots of oils, lots of fresh green vegetables, primarily comes from Italy and Greece, and they also have carbohydrates.
And they have wine.
And they have wine.
And they have garlic. And they
yogurt.
have more wine. They have more wine. Yeah. And yogurt. Yeah. I love wine.
Wine is so good. And Dave Barb, yes, even if Purple does hate cinnamon, and I absolutely do,
cinnamon
is
is
good for you. Yeah, I know.
It's a good blood. I am not a doctor, but it's good for normalizing blood sugar if you have that kind of a problem. Cinnamon is a very good thing in the early stages of blood sugar related issues. It's a good neutralizer. Again, this is not something I pulled out of my ass. This has been scientifically established for, at least in the modern era, since the 19th century, and God knows what it was like 15,000 years ago when we were a lot smarter than we are now before the asteroids hit. So,
which, should that asteroid that Salty mentioned earlier actually hit, we might actually be going back in this direction. So it might be wise to get used to these sort of diets
take it
while you can.
I'll take it. I'll roll the dice. Give me a D20. If I roll a 19 or 20, I survive. I'll take it. Everybody else has to do it too, but I don't want a tyrannical global government poisoning me with genetically modified shit, taxing me for existing.
And he is absolutely correct. And the other thing that it is rich in is, because it's by the sea, it is rich in fish and doesn't have a huge reliance on animal meat, which is fine by me. But yes, look at this deliciousness. And as Salty correctly said, look, wine.
Oh, sole mia, where to now, Contessa? That's my everybody loves somebody sometimes. That was Dean Martin. So, yeah.
Love a little bit of Dean Martin, but
right?
I just thought I would bring that up because we do like to talk health as well as woo-woo on this show, and it is fascinating to talk with you guys because you clearly know exactly what we mean, and that's why we love doing these shows, because we don't have to spell it out for you.
No, and I got one more article.
Nice.
And then maybe we can bounce around with the chat. And let me do this one. And Zax, if you're still if you're still here, buddy, or anybody who's in Canada, I'll open it up to all of our friends in the Great White North, and I know how to YouTube. I can do this. There we go. This was interesting, and because we just went through the Perseid meteor shower, there have been a lot of Perseid-related meteors coming in. Now, let me know. We're on screen. So this one comes to us from Live Science. It was published literally a few days ago. And eerie green fireball detected hours before smashing into Lake Ontario in the dead of night. Now, they called this a renegade meteor. Remember NASA? Yeah, nobody. What are we doing over there? I guess we're just printing handbooks on white privilege. We're not exactly watching the skies. A renegade meteor flared into the Earth's atmosphere in the wee hours of November 19th, creating a bright flash green fireball over the eastern United States and Canada. Now look at this trail. This is a hot, burning asteroid with some size.
Wow.
Yeah.
That looks like it's shooting up rather than down.
Now, I forget. I thought, no, chat correctly. I thought the green meteors were iron and the blue were nickel, but I could forget. So this was a 30-second exposure. So this was a high altitudinal drop and descent, and it shows a green fireball streaking toward Lake Ontario near the U.S.-Canadian border. It was 3 o'clock in the morning East Coast time, midnight West Coast, on November 19th. When this bright green fireball streaked through the skies. Witnesses reported seeing a helicopter-like object cruising silently through the air before lighting up huge swaths of the night like an enormous lightning bolt. This lasted about 10 seconds. The burn was about 10 seconds. That's a long time, and then it was gone. Now, they say this fireball is a small meteor detected by astronomers just 3 hours before it hit Earth, caught fire, and broke up into 100 pieces. Now, most of those pieces likely fell into Lake Ontario, but there might be some small chunks that have impacted on the lake's south shore.
Yes, and Zach says he's still here, and he's claiming the vibranium for himself.
Yeah. 7 observatories around the world watch the meteor makes its early morning entry in the 19th, and at least, we'll just say 60 people in New York, Maryland, Pennsylvania, and the province of Ontario, reported seeing the fireball. So, it's fascinating. Then we've got somebody from Brantford, Ontario. That's about let's just play games. That's 97 kilometers west of the New York border. Managed to capture the fireball's descent with a GoPro. And yeah, here it is.
That is incredible.
That look like a meteor to you?
That does not look like a meteor to me, no.
You guys, does that look like a meteor to you? What the hell was that? Yeah, they said this thing was only 3 feet in diameter. Bullshit. Can I just say that? I don't know what that was. But that was freaky weird. That was just super freaky weird. I don't remember a lot of slow descent 3-foot meteors.
Yeah, that thing was cruising.
Again, all right, I'm gonna hide my messages. Can you see that I'm on Twitter, or do I have to reshare? Okay, no.
You have to reshare. Yeah.
Oh shit. Hold on, let me do this. I know how to YouTube. Hold on.
But Trinoculus says that smells like a test firing. You're not wrong.
Thank you.
But you got the velocity.
It's the velocity, guys. The velocity. Seriously. All right. Let me see if I can go full screen on this. Jesus,
okay.
What are we doing here?
Not sharing any.
There it is.
Messages.
I'm not.
You're good to go.
No, I'm not.
Bring it in. There we
go. Here, hold on. Let me try and get bigger, ladies. So look at that. Does that look like an asteroid to you? Now this is the CNN or whatever that tower is in Canada. It's Justin Trudeau's wife's boyfriend's sex toy. And there's the slow-moving 3-foot meteor.
Just cruising past, as it does, as meteors have a tendency to do.
I don't know. This does not look like a meteor to me. doesn't look. I don't know what the hell it is, but I don't think it's a meteor. I just don't purple.
No, I don't think that's a meteor either. No, I'm just saying no.
Look at Snortapoopus Cube, bringing his A game. Says a Klingon bird of prey firing a photon torpedo. How could I have missed it? You are not wrong. And then, of course, we have Trinoculus P says that's a highly populated area. You are not wrong. And then who was it that had the Project Thor? Oh, yeah, Psycho Dwarf 9. 2 words, Project Thor. We should probably cover that this weekend a little bit.
That's a good idea. You guys are fantastic. I have one more thing that I'd like to cover,
Cool.
if that's okay. Since it is topical, well, at least for some of you guys. So let me share. We have got, why is turkey the main dish on Thanksgiving? Now, I didn't know, but I'm going to find out with you guys because I'm actually fascinated. And I don't know why, but this picture just makes me smile.
Well, I love it. I want that on a t-shirt. I really do.
That turkey does not want, he is not fooled one bit.
Yeah, I like the kid with the little string. Good luck getting that around a tom turkey. I've had tom turkeys, and they're crazy. They're not very bright, but they're crazy. And yeah, good luck with that kid. That bird will rip your throat out. That's what's going to happen.
That's going to be a life lesson for that kid. But let's see what they've got to say. So, have you ever wondered why Thanksgiving revolves around turkey and not ham, chicken, venison, beef, or corn? I have not, but let's find out. Almost 1 in 10 Americans eat turkey during this festive meal, which is kind of fantastic. Whether it is roasted, deep fried, never had deep fried turkey, grilled, or cooked in any other way for the occasion.
How else would you cook a turkey? Boil it? What the hell is wrong with these people? You roast it or deep fry it. Now you can grill it. I mean, like, and you can smoke it too. You can smoke a turkey breast, and that's damn good eating. I'm just gonna say that.
I'm sorry, I had to get this. Kid's about to lose an eye.
If he's lucky, and he'll probably walk with a limp for the rest of his life when that turkey's done with him.
And let me say hey to Dr. Rachel Lindbergh. Great to see you. She says, because turkeys are a plague in the Northeast and we're just doing a natural cleanup service.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. And especially in the upper Midwest, too. Turkeys just walking all over the place, tearing up cornfields. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy because I've done turkey hunting before, and they're such strange creatures. Like when you go out first thing in the morning, when it's like 5 o'clock in the morning, the damn things are always up a tree. So you're trying to walk carefully, holding your firearm, your 2A thing, and not step on something. And then you spook the bird, and you heard go gobble, 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 and then you basically in the dark try to pull the trigger and not cause damage to a tree. So, and then you get it, and the only damn thing you can eat on most wild turkeys is the turkey breast, and it's good. It's very gamey, very lean, because again, these animals are not fed like commercially raised turkeys. But you smoke the turkey breast; it's great. I've made turkey breast jerky; it's delicious.
That sounds amazing. Yeah. And Dave Bob says, God as my witness, I thought turkeys could fly.
Yes. WKRP in Cincinnati. Watch that episode if you have not. If you're putting up with family that you'd much rather throw in a wood chipper, who are asking you for your Vax passport, please, by all means, put on WKRP. That is one of the funniest damn episodes ever. Speaking of which, I am going to be doing a live show tomorrow night. I think it's starting at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p. I don't know what it is. Anyway, I'm just going to do a chill stream. I'm going to talk about all kinds of things. Might do some trivia. Might play some Garctic Phone. Anyone who I've live streamed with before is welcome. We're just going to chill out for a little while. Maybe share pictures of food. Talk about Thanksgiving recipes. Just basically somewhere to hang out if you're trying to escape your family. Or if you're kind of on your own for Thanksgiving, and we'd just love to see you and have you.
Thanksgiving get together. That sounds really good. That sounds lovely.
And for those of you in countries, that have different holidays or no holidays at all, where that's in Europe or Asia or wherever it is, or you cannibals in Canada with your weird Thanksgiving day, please come and hang out with us.
I need
I'm
to
salty.
learn more
You met me.
about Thanksgiving, but let's see what they've got to say. So it says, you might believe it's because of the Pilgrims a year after they landed on what is now the state of Massachusetts, and their indigenous Wampanoag guests ate during the first Thanksgiving. That's what Charlie Brown kind of told us. Oh,
Mhm.
or it's because turkey is originally from the Americas. Yeah. But it has more to do with how Americans observed the holiday in the late 1800s than which poultry the Pilgrims ate while celebrating their bounty in 1621. Well, there
That's
you
the size
go.
of the turkey. That's the
Yeah,
size of my Thanksgiving turkey.
that's a
I was
big
just
turkey.
doing that before the live stream. The one difference was I wasn't wearing a pilgrim outfit, but I was riding it around in my living
But the
room.
turkey was, so yes.
It looked that happy too. It was so happy. Yeah.
I want to ride a giant turkey to work. That would be amazing. Sorry, I've gone off on a tangent.
Oh, look who you're talking to. Look who you're talking to.
So did they or did they not eat it? Let's see. The only first-hand record of what the Pilgrims ate at the first Thanksgiving feast comes from Edward Winslow. He
Indeed.
noted that the Wampanoag leader,
Mhm.
you have to help me with the
Massasoit.
pronunciation, Massasoit, thank you,
Massasoit.
arrived with 90 men, and the two communities feasted together for 3 days. That sounds like a hell of a party. Winslow wrote a little more about the menu, aside from mentioning 5 deer that the Wampanoag bought, and that the meal included fowl,
Mhm.
which is an Old English word for bird,
Yeah. Yeah.
which could have been any number of wild birds. So it could have been geese, ducks, or turkeys, whatever they could find, I guess.
I'm guessing turkeys. Ducks
Hmm.
are pretty hard to hit with a bow and arrow. Geese are mean as hell. I know that from
Yeah, they
personal
are.
experience. Turkeys, I think, was probably the most likely one. Now, I love duck. I absolutely
Mm.
love duck, and I've never had a goose. And I asked Purple. I asked you about this a couple days ago. Like, what is a goose like? But
Hmm.
are those of you in chat? Has anybody ever had a Christmas goose? Like, maybe it's just always hearing these English things and oh, a lovely goose for Christmas or whatever.
Stuff the
But
goose. Yes.
ooh, now we're back to Ron Jeremy, aren't we? Okay.
Ladies. Goose to kind of, if anyone hasn't eaten it, it's very similar to duck, but it's less fatty. It's a very gamey meat, and I've never had it for Christmas, but I have had it in the past. One of these years, I would love to do a traditional Victorian Christmas dinner.
Ooh.
Christmas pudding, goose, pottage, anything like that,
Oh,
and really do it properly.
that sounds really, really good. And Zax
Mm.
is right. Past the crickets said nobody. It's true.
You're not wrong. So let's see what they have to say. So historians do know important ingredients of traditional dishes were not available. You don't say. But this includes potatoes and green beans,
Mhm,
and I've been told that
mhm.
there's a lot of particular food that goes into making a Thanksgiving dinner, which I'm absolutely
Oh, hell yeah.
fascinated with.
Hell yes.
But it is apparently a resurrected tradition. So historians who have studied the history of food have found that most modern Thanksgiving traditions began kind of similar to the ones on the other side of the pond around mid-19th century, 2 or more centuries after the Pilgrims' first harvest feast. So
Mhm.
while it's a kind of nice idea that turkey was probably on the menu, and we can't say for certain that it wasn't, as Salty said, it was most likely because turkey would probably be the bird of choice if they were going to be hunting bird, because they would be the easiest, I would imagine, to get.
Yeah. Just hit them with
You
rocks and then tackle them.
just chuck a rock at him. Or like that kid in that picture, just go after it with a bit of string.
Yeah.
Nothing at all could ever go wrong.
Lasso.
Yeah.
Just tempt him with jelly beans and throw a bag over him. And there you go. You got your turkey.
So is that a wild turkey? Is that what they look like?
So everybody knows a particular kind of turkey. Now, if
Mm-hmm.
memory serves, that is a very large breed turkey called a bourbon turkey. And those of you who know your turkey better than I do, I've raised turkeys before, but the bourbons are much larger. They're primarily a meat bird. There are other turkeys you can do too. I believe there's a bronze, again, just like with chickens. Some chickens are not very good meat birds. They're good layers,
Mm-hmm.
they're too lean. But the bourbon turkey is primarily what you're going to see for, I think, most Thanksgiving meals. There are things called ornamental turkeys, which they look they're very pretty for turkeys. They're crazy. And
As far as turkeys go,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, it's yeah. But I mean, but you don't really eat them because they're all feathers and they're no meat. There's one. God, what was that one called? I can't even remember. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But the everybody's familiar with the brown turkey, and that's called a bourbon turkey. So yeah.
That's pretty cool. And for us, obviously, as this article ends, turkey is the bird of choice for Christmas. Now, one reason for this is because of Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol. Salty might have something to say about that.
Oh yeah, I talked about it earlier in the show. For those of you who've drifted in, I am doing my last pass through of my final adaptation of the Christmas Carol. This is based upon the original 1939 radio play by Orson Welles in the Players Playhouse. However, I have changed a great deal of the script for time, and also to reflect different types of casting and things I want to do. I will start recording again for A Christmas Carol. I need to reach out to some people that I would really like to have on the show or have on the broadcast to see if they have time. But I'm very excited about this. This is yet something else I've wanted to do all of my life. And War of the Worlds was my big one. And now Christmas Carol, it's a timeless story. And I look forward to bringing that to life for people. So A Christmas Carol will obviously be releasing that sometime in December, but this one will be a lot less labor intensive because I don't need to make my own special effects because I made all those. And this will be pretty straightforward, but the casting and the direction will be a little bit harder because I have a vision for this thing. And if you'd like to be part of it and you're on Twitter, please hit me up. So yeah.
Absolutely. I'm really looking forward to it. And guys, if you did listen to the War of the Worlds, you know how much work both Salty and the cast put into making it. So it's going to be something special. I cannot wait.
I want to call out Psycho Dwarf 9. He said all you do is you sneak up on ducks sitting on a pond and shoot him with a bow and arrow. If you have video evidence of you doing that, my friend, show me. Now, I know people have done it. I also know that people have bow hunted fish. Now, I'm incredibly impressed by that. I've never done that. But yeah, I would like to see some video on that. I'll tell you that. And yeah, Smile a While for me says that picture we looked at of the bourbon turkey. No, that is a corn-fed, living large, lazy boy. That's a lazy boy turkey and not a wild one at all. So
fair enough. Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah.
The only turkeys that we generally get in the UK, the big white ones, that they're the ones that get turned into Christmas dinner.
You have a lot that are your prime ministers. Let's be really honest about it.
This is true. Yeah. They can also get stuffed, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, yeah. And we have an old puppet turkey right now. So I guess I really can't talk about here in the United States. So, yeah.
Oh my God, guys. I think that was a pretty successful return for woo-woo weirdness. What do you think, Salty? Think we had a pretty good show?
Yeah, I mean, it's weird. You kind of forget how to do things seamlessly after a week and a half of not streaming. But once we got into it, and it's like, you know what? We got this. But the articles drive it. And again, we say this every show, but you guys in chat make this so much fun. I love seeing everybody here. Dr. Rachel Lindbergh, Jacob Ironside, Silverlock. We got Snexa Comics sneaking in, trying to get a little glory. Where the hell have you been all show, dude? And we got Zax. We have Smile a While. We have everybody who's been here. Nosferatu, Dempsey. It's Dave Bob, Psycho Dwarf 9. It's great to see you guys, and I really did miss you guys. Yeah, sometimes you just got to deal with real life, and sometimes these are weird days. And some of us are going through challenges and we're trying to do the right thing. And, YouTube is an important part, I think, for all of us of socialization and to get some laughs out there. So it really means a lot to me. And I know it does to you, Purple, that you guys are here. Thank you so much for the super chats and thanks for being our friends. Really, truly.
Thank you, guys. And before we wind up, let me say a huge thank you, not just to Ren Zero for the £10 super chat, thank you, but for everybody who sent super chats and member chats. You guys are amazing. But Ren Zero says a small thank you for the stream, Purple, and grab a drink while you watch those Joe Rogan interviews. Absolutely. P.S. Also check your email. I will absolutely.
Sweet.
I'm checking and going through social media at the moment because we had a little bit of a hiccup, but things are back as they should be. So cannot wait. But guys, as Salty said, we are so happy to get to do this, to get to talk to you guys, and to get to do these shows. We have got another one, I believe, coming soon. But before we do, Salty, you've got a show coming up tomorrow as well.
I do. I also want to shout out Zax, who's quoting a 1970s ABC sitcom show called Welcome Back, Carter. Welcome back. That's where a very young and totally not gay John Travolta plays a ruthless street gang punk called Vinny Barbarino, and he's part of a gang called the Sweat Hogs. Check that out. That's your deep 70s sitcom TV lore.
That's a deep dive.
Yeah. But tomorrow, like I said, actually, as soon as we're done here, I'm going to check my work email, and then I'm going to start making pies. I'm going to make my world famous maple pumpkin pie, and then also start prepping all this. I like to prep everything ahead of time. So the green bean casserole, again, non-GMO, whatever. And then do my stuffing from scratch. It's just tomorrow, it's just going to be kind of hanging out and talking about, like, how did you do your turkey? What kind of, do you like sweet potatoes? Because I do sweet potatoes and regular potatoes, and I make my own gravy. But this year I'm going to be doing a pecan pie with my usual maple pumpkin pie. And and I'm just going to roast a turkey and do it up, and hopefully, you never know if you're going to get a good turkey or not. But I'm going to be doing that show tomorrow, and there won't be any woo-woo this Saturday because I'm going to be doing some traveling. I'm going out to the wilds, and it's actually, believe it or not, I'm going to be doing some Bigfoot research, some field research this weekend.
Very cool.
I know that sounds completely batshit crazy, but it's true. I'm going to be going out to some places and helping some friends out, which is part of why I moved. I'm helping some people out do some things that I believe in, and some things that are important to what it means to be an American. And that's why I, moved. And I'm not going to share a lot about things like that. I loved where I was, but there were some things that I truly do believe in that I want to be part of while they're still here. So that's why this has all kind of happened. So I'll say that. But look for the show tomorrow. It's a very salty Thanksgiving. It's going to be chill, hang out. Love to see you.
It's going to be a fun one. And Jacob Ironside says, Salty, see you tomorrow for that pumpkin pie. Absolutely.
I'm making the food so I could feed everybody in chat that still have leftovers. I seriously, and I got what I consider to be a small turkey, which means I could actually carry it by myself into the house. So there you go.
And Psychodorf says, I just started brining the turkey.
I agree. I know. Wow. I'm going to do a little bit of that. I'm going to do a little bit of that as well. I like to pull the skin up and then rub an herb butter mixture under it, and then kind of coat it with olive oil. And I used to put it in one of those just covered roasting things where it sat in its own juices. Now I use a roasting rack, and I really like the results from a roasting rack.
It lifts the bird out of the juice.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. It's like it's a turkey in high heels in Arizona in summer. That's how I do my turkey. Yeah. I'm going to shut up. You gotta go.
That sounds amazing. Guys, huge thank you to my wonderful co-host. As always, it's so good to get to talk woo-woo with Salty again. So we will be back very, very soon. But please join him tomorrow for the Thanksgiving. I know I will be there and listening because I'm fascinated with Thanksgiving. It's something that we don't have, but I'm learning as I go. But guys,
sorry, I'm just reading everybody's food stuff in chat. Smile a while for me is gonna go grind your own grain. This is what I love about you guys.
Yes,
I know what you're doing. I do those same things, not for this because I moved, but yeah, you get yourself an old grinder, get some of that hard red winter wheat. Things are gonna get nuts next year. It's not an accident. So this is, look at all this. We got trinoculus pieces. You got a 15-pound turducken thawing. I love, dude.
Ooh.
I love me that, because you can kind of sample all the fowl. Dr. Rachel Lindbergh says, I'd love to have Thanksgiving with everyone here. Well, I would love to have all of you. Nothing would make me happier, and I truly do mean this, than having a house full of friends, drinking all my good liquor, and then eating my dinner. That would make me really happy. And then we could play like the meme game, or some crazy trivia
Cards
game,
Against
and
Humanity. Yeah.
just stuff like that. I know I'm making myself hungry, Jacob. In Psychodorf 9 deep fry, I will allow other people who live closer to the fire department to deep fry. I'll just say that. But I do love a deep fried turkey. It's been about a decade since I've had that. We've got Zach's coming out of the closet in the chat saying not on grinder. I don't know if that's about turkeys or what that's about. But Jacob Ironside says, plus all the elbow grease makes your food taste better, just like
True
chopping
story.
wood. Just like and Trinoculus pieces got the white and the red wheat bear. See, I talk the talk and walk the walk. I totally got it. Thank you, D Bud Mutton, for throwing out there. Yeah, my channel name is changing to Salty Traveling Sea. You can still find me as Salty Texas Sea, but I didn't want to steal the great state of Texas's name if I wasn't there at the moment. And that's a long story, which I will not share on YouTube, but it is what it is. And sometimes you just kind of roll with life, the way life takes you. So
Yes.
it is what it is.
Please
You all are
subscribe.
fantastic.
Yes. Because YouTube is being YouTube at the moment, and you don't want to miss tomorrow's show. But guys, I am going to wrap this up because we've gone for about an hour and a half, which is a pretty respectable woo-woo show, I
This
think.
was fun.
This was fun. This was great. Guys, thank you so much. I really, really did miss you. Cannot wait to get back into the swing of things again, and to get back and getting out more content. But today was wonderful. Huge thank you to Salty, as always, for doing this. Love getting to talk woo-woo. So guys, please join Salty tomorrow, and we will be back very, very soon with more woo-woo. I'm going to leave you with the outro. Happy Thanksgiving.